Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette and I make videos talking about my experiences as a New Zealander living in Germany. So in this video today, I am going to be clearing up or debunking some myths and some very common misconceptions about Germany and German people. Some of the comments I read under my videos or the comments I read on the channels that are similar to mine, like in the same category as my channel, are just simply untrue. And I feel like commenting on all of these videos and just clearing it up, but I don't have time to do that, so I thought I'd make a video clearing up some of these misconceptions. So I have actually made a list on my phone. The first comment is one that just is thrown around all the time. Like, I have been hearing this for years, even before I moved to Germany, but I'm hearing it more so now since I've moved to Germany. And this comment is the one that annoys me the most and the one that I personally find offensive, and I'm not even German. And this comment is, all Germans are Nazis. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but you know, I've said it. People have said this to me just trying to be funny, and I also receive a lot of similar comments under my videos, and these types of comments just automatically get filtered out by YouTube, which is great. I don't need these kind of comments on my videos. I've been living in Germany for almost 12 years now, and in the entire time I have been living here, I can swear that I have not met a single Nazi, nor have I met a single German who condones what went on in the past. I think we all know what I'm talking about here. In saying that, I have met many Germans who feel a great sense of shame and guilt. Obviously what went on back then was absolutely horrific. There is no denying that. But I find it just so sad and so unfair that this generation of Germans are still being blamed for something that they personally didn't have any part in, and something that they don't want to be associated with because it's something they didn't do. I actually became quite close to an old lady who lived in my old neighborhood, and she's actually in her early 90s right now, and we would often have chats about her childhood. And one day she was actually in tears talking to me about growing up during World War II and the fact that she feels so much guilt and so much shame for being a German. She said to me that as a child growing up during World War II, she had absolutely no idea what was going on, like the true extent of what was happening and what we know today. She didn't know what was going on, her family didn't know what was going on, neither did her friends and her community. She mentioned propaganda. She just broke down crying. It was heartbreaking. I just hugged her and I said to her, it's okay. It's okay, it's not your fault, you didn't know. And she still, to this day, feels so much shame and guilt over something that she personally didn't have a part in. I just wanted to share that little story with you, and it's one of the reasons why I find it just so unfair, and it annoys me so much when people throw around these comments because they are so offensive. And honestly, in New Zealand, in my home country, we have some pretty shocking statistics, some horrific statistics actually, that I am not proud of, and not many people talk about them. And these are on subjects like domestic violence and on teen suicide. And so how would New Zealanders like it if somebody said that all New Zealand men are wife beaters? That's clearly not true. That's no different from saying that all Germans are Nazis. So, you know, if you hear a comment like that, like, don't laugh at it, because it's really offensive, and in my opinion it's not funny, and people need to stop throwing around just stupid comments like that. Okay guys, so moving on from a very heavy topic to something a little bit more lighthearted. Whew. So this misconception about Germans is one I find quite funny actually, and this is, all Germans are tall, blonde and blue-eyed. So this is definitely not true at all. Like, so untrue. I've actually had a couple of people in New Zealand, when I've told them that I live in Germany, say to me, oh, you must feel really out of place there because most Germans are blonde and blue-eyed and tall, and you're the opposite. Well, that's true. I am not blonde or blue-eyed or tall. I'm only 154 centimeters or 155 centimeters on a good day, and obviously I have very dark hair, and I don't feel out of place here in Germany at all. And I can say that there are just as many dark-haired people in Germany as there is blonde. And so I don't know where people get that idea. It's something I've heard a lot of people say, and it's mostly people who haven't actually visited Germany. They've just heard that Germans are blonde and blue-eyed, and I see some blonde, blue-eyed Germans, but, there are definitely a lot of redheads and, Germans with black hair and brown hair. It's just, there's a huge mix of different types of people here in Germany. And, I don't think there are any more blonde Germans than there are blonde New Zealanders. So yeah, that's not true at all. Maybe this comment would be kind of true in a Scandinavian country. I'm sure there are a lot more blondes in, say, Sweden. Actually, maybe one of the reasons why many non-Germans assume that the majority of Germans are blonde and blue-eyed is just because of just the general image of a German person, like the stereotypical image that you may see on TV. Most of the famous German celebrities are blonde, and if you watch like a Miss World, Miss Universe pageant, usually Miss Germany is blonde. So I think that is where it comes from. The tall thing, I don't know, I think maybe people are getting confused with the Netherlands. When I visited the Netherlands, I have to say I was pretty shocked at how tall most people were. I felt tiny in the Netherlands, and there were a lot of blondes actually in the Netherlands, and that is something I noticed. Not everyone, but there were a lot of blondes, blue-eyed people, and very tall people. But in Germany, I mean, yeah, there are tall people, but I wouldn't say that most Germans are really tall. So yeah, I think I've cleared that up. So there are a lot of different types of people in Germany. Okay, so next up is a very light-hearted misconception about Germany. This one I don't mind. This one is not offensive at all. But I have heard a lot of people say that in Germany, on the German Autobahn, there is absolutely no speed limit. You can drive as fast as you want. And many non-Germans think this is awesome. And the truth is, yes, there are parts of the Autobahn in Germany where there is no speed limit. I'll give you that. That is true, but not the entire Autobahn. So there are also parts of the Autobahn that do have a speed limit. So if you are driving past a town or a city in Germany, normally you will have to slow down to around 100 kilometers an hour or 120 kilometers an hour or less, for safety reasons obviously, but it is not true that the whole Autobahn has no speed limit. So that was pretty short and sweet, but I needed to clear that one up because I just hear that all the time. And yes, there is a speed limit on the Autobahn in some areas. Okay, next up, this is one I've heard quite a lot. This is also another light-hearted one. I know I started off with a very heavy topic, and I'm going to be ending this video with a few sort of light-hearted misconceptions about Germans. And this one is Germans eat sauerkraut and sausages every day. And that is not true. That is not true. You know, Germans like to eat sauerkraut and sausages sometimes, but definitely not every single day. In fact, I eat more sausages and sauerkraut than many Germans that I know. This makes me laugh actually because it takes me right back to a conversation I had with Philly. Many of you will know who she is. She has an amazing YouTube channel. She asked me what German foods I like. We did a podcast together a while back, and I mentioned that I love sauerkraut, and she laughed because she was like, I don't even eat sauerkraut. Like, she could not even remember the last time she ate sauerkraut, and she was born and raised in Bavaria, Germany. I would say I eat sauerkraut and sausages once a week. That's how much I enjoy it, and I will often order it at a German restaurant. But I don't think a lot of Germans eat sauerkraut all the time. I think it's sort of something that they may have once in a while. It's definitely a German specialty, at least in Bavaria, the area of Germany where I live. But I don't think it's something that Germans eat. Well, it's definitely not something that Germans eat every single day. It's just, you know, a German specialty that Germans do enjoy once in a while. So if you're German and you're watching this, let me know how often you eat sausages and sauerkraut. I'd be really interested to know. Okay guys, so last but not least, and I don't know if every German is going to agree with me on this, but I'm going to share my opinion anyway. This misconception is Germany is a very efficient country. And I know some of you are probably thinking that this is true, but in my opinion, this is not entirely true. I do think Germany is efficient in a lot of areas. I think that Germany as a country runs very efficiently, things like recycling and the way that many Germans are very, very organized and, you know, that type of thing. I personally think that New Zealand is a lot more efficient than Germany in many areas. So in New Zealand, we basically pay for everything with a debit card and we barely use cash to pay for everyday items. And in Germany, cash is still king. I talk about this often. I know that cards, debit cards, are becoming a lot more popular in Germany now than they were, but definitely cash is still king here in Germany. And I find using a card to pay for everyday items is so much more efficient, so much quicker and easier than paying with cash. Also, something I don't think is particularly efficient in Germany is the fact that so much bureaucracy is done through snail mail. So like posting replies to companies instead of going online and pressing a button. And so in Germany, a lot of the bureaucracy takes a lot longer than it does in New Zealand because you're doing everything the old-fashioned way. You're receiving a letter and then you're having to fill out the form and then you have to post it, take it to the post office and then wait for the reply, and it's all done like that. I'm not denying Germany is a very efficient country in many ways, but not in every aspect. So maybe you can give me some examples of why you feel Germany is an efficient country or why you feel it is not an efficient country. I'd love to hear your feedback in my comment section. So guys, I have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I know that so many of you who watch my videos are not actually subscribed, so if you would consider subscribing, that would mean so much to me. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!